First off, let's talk about how the Yigra combo actually works. So what you're trying to do is make sure you have a Yigra on the battlefield in either a food or a cauldron familiar and another cauldron familiar in the graveyard. And because Yigra makes other creatures food, what you can do is sacrifice that food or other cauldron familiar to the cauldron familiar in the graveyard, bring it back, you gain 1, your opponent loses 1. That new cauldron familiar on the battlefield is a food, so you can take the cauldron familiar that's in the graveyard now, sacrifice the cauldron familiar on the battlefield, you gain 1, your opponent loses 1. Now there's another cauldron familiar in the graveyard, and do that over and over and over until your opponent dies. That's the basics of the combo. There's a lot of ways to get there, mostly alongside Scavenger's Talent, because Scavenger Talent allows you to sacrifice things and then self-mill to be able to get those cats and eventually a Yigra in the graveyard. And it's okay if the Yigra hits the graveyard because we can use Scavenger's Talent's third ability to sack all the crazy artifacts and permanents that we have to just bring Yigra back and then do the combo because we've milled ourselves a whole bunch. Scavenger's Talent also has a couple other really interesting nuances with it where we can chump with cats effectively indefinitely because we get a food whenever a creature dies. And so our opponent attacks with a big creature, we chump with our 1/1, it dies, we get a food because we trigger Scavenger's Talent, and then on our opponent's end step, we just bring back the cat by sacrificing the food that was created when the cat died.